On today's show, meet the new kid in town. One of walleye fishing's hottest anglers comes from right here in the land of 10,000 lakes. Moving water moved this angler to tie a fly, one that might just help you catch more fish.
So we scrambled.
And an Asian-inspired recipe you can try this upcoming hunting season.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hey everybody, Laura, Millie, and I welcome you to today's adventure.
Minnesota's fishy reputation relies on growing good walleyes and also growing good walleye anglers too.
Yeah, heck, long ago our own Gary Roach earned the title as Mr. Walleye.
And as Travis Frank explains, there might be a second Mr. Walleye in the making.
Welcome aboard.
In the land of 10,000 lakes, there's only one state fish.
I've been walleye fishing for like 3 months now.
In the competitive walleye fishing world, there's only one name that stands on the top of the leaderboard. That's Minnesota's John Hoyer.
Okay, let's go. Ooh, there's our first walleye. There goes his hook. Yep, he likes us. Oh boy, he bit. So that one turned and said, let's play the game. And it's a 21-incher. Hello. We're on the board.
Look at that.
These fish are so healthy right now.
No kidding, that's a beauty.
That's a nice start.
Anglers love him. Walleyes probably fear him.
Walleyes love perch.
Mostly because John shares his fish-catching secrets.
Can't show this on camera either. Just kidding, you could.
The secret's right here.
Just adding some lifelike to it. Little gills. But it would catch, I don't know, 2 to 1?
Mostly because John shares his fish-catching secrets. He created his own YouTube series called Tour Level Gold.
So Tour Level Gold is a YouTube series, you know, it's basically a documentary of us anglers that fish the National Walleye Tour. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Fun that's now a full-blown business. John Hoyer is the hottest walleye angler in the world. He's a 5-time National Walleye Tour champion. And the current National Walleye Tour Angler of the Year.
It's definitely a childhood dream.
A dream come true for a Minnesota kid that grew up with a fishing pole in his hand.
Yeah, pretty much.
John became a muskie guide out of high school that ultimately turned into a walleye pro.
You know, I was a fishing guide, which is kind of that childhood dream, you know, to get paid to fish. You're a professional fisherman if you get paid to fish. And now to be able to call it a full-time job without any other income, it's definitely a childhood dream.
Now he cashes checks chasing fish around the country more than 5 months out of the year. A strong work ethic keeps John learning on the job.
If I'm not fishing a tournament, you know, practicing for a tournament to win money, I'm literally refining my craft. I'm staying focused. It's a lot like golf, like a short game.
Oh, get that fish.
If you really like muskie fishing, I want to see the reaction first, and then
Oh, you hit him.
nothing happens, so now what's up?
Uh-oh. Yeah, now you made him mad.
Right.
You got that fish. Look at him. Yes! That was so awesome.
That one was classic.
That was awesome.
I've done that a lot this year.
Honestly, that was just really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's still got to be hard enough, you know, to trigger a instinct out of the fish.
You make it look so easy.
There's active target, and then there's next level video games. So that's what that was.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've had some pretty good success the last couple of years doing that exact same thing. Walleyes are great predators. Free pass.
Someday that could be worth a couple $1,000 in your bank account.
For sure, yeah.
Today's fishing tools and time on the water give John the upper hand.
It's like a video game.
Most importantly, his attitude keeps fishing fun.
Got him.
Oh, he did follow you in.
He did? Oh,
He
it's a
found it.
walleye.
Yes.
Boom.
Nice work, buddy.
Thank you. That's fun.
John celebrates his success with humility and pure joy. Hey, what do you got there, John?
Oh, walleye. Black special.
That's exactly why everything he touches turns to gold. Move over, Mr. Walleye. There's clearly a new kid in town.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Star Bank, White Bear Lake Superstore, and by Your Boat Club.
Up next, the story of a Colorado transplant who ended up in Minnesota. When he arrived, he thought his fly fishing days might be over. But then he discovered new life and new flies. Oh, that water feels nice.
It's actually pretty warm.
The lure of moving water.
There it is. It's your cast.
Okay, but it was cool.
Yep.
With a fly rod in hand,
I just think a fly rod is so much fun,
Oh, I love it.
so active.
Oh, shoot. You missed it.
my offerings of choice, hand-tied flies in every shape, size, and color. The creative side of the fly fishing game. No one knows better
This is from Scaly Designs.
than this guy.
Over here is this brown trout longboard. The popper, which is really dear to my heart because I love doing topwater fishing, which is fantastic. Smallmouth bass.
Jay Verhelst lives for fishy imagination.
I love art. I love fly fishing art, and I collect what I can. It's the coloring of it. It just brings it all, into me.
But really, Jay's most personal expression comes sitting in front of a fly vise.
That just beefs it up a little bit more. Takes a little bit more abuse. Toothy critters like to eat them.
Where he ties a Midwest fly a big smallmouth bass proportions.
But a white fly and a white baitfish fly was what I was after. This in particular streamer fishes and swims really well. So that suspending action, that darting action is amazing.
A proven pattern born of Jay's love of fishing.
For the whitey, what we do is we start out with a 1/0 hook. GSP, always my thread of choice. The biggest thing with this fly is that you need to follow the entire length of the hook when tying it. So next we have bucktail, white bucktail, and we're gonna tie that in, and I'm gonna trim off and tie everything else in. Next, we're gonna add a little bit of this UV resin, and that's just to keep it a little bit stronger. This is Minnowback, and it's got a ton of shine to it. Now again, when I go to tie this in, I'm going to have it extend past the bucktail. That way everything's nice and stacked and tapered perfectly.
He repeats and adds layers.
If we fish this with a loop, it darts really well. And we'll have one more series just like that, and then we'll start in on our wrap.
A wrap of what's called flex hackle.
What we're gonna do is palmer this forward, one after the other. I use this stuff on everything, right? It's like Frank's Red Hot. You can add it to all different ones, musky flies, bass flies. And now, I'm gonna grab Senyo's Laser Dub. What we wanna do is just kind of spread those fibers out. And we're just gonna add a little bit of an underbelly to it. And you don't need a lot. And then we're gonna use these heads that go on them here. Now what we want to do is seat it, like so. We want to make sure that it's nice and square. And then I'm gonna add the UV resin right into the 2 holes on the side. Just like so, nice and straight. And then I'm gonna grab some eyes and then match them up on each side and go out and catch yourself a smallmouth bass.
But Jay offers the fly in a buffet of colors. Means they all probably work, which keeps him tying. Now, if he just had more time to fish.
Always fishing, 100%, yes, always. I tie 2 fish. I think that's how it works.
That's okay. You work and we'll pick up the slack.
The whitey.
Throwing the whitey fly.
That's it.
That thing's wicked looking.
We're gonna see if it does its job.
I wanted a white fly that suspended well, swam well, and got a ton of attention. But a nice stained Mississippi, St. Croix, Rum River style fishing, you're gonna get a lot of attention off of it.
A homemade fly for fishing. Just part of the fun of this game.
We lug packs and canoes.
Still ahead, Ron Shera waxes about life in the boundary waters. But first, Laura's in the kitchen to whip up a special recipe for your next bird hunt.
Closed captioning provided by Radco Truck Accessories.
Hi everybody, Chef Jim Kinberg from Crave Restaurants is back for Wild in the Kitchen today. Chef Jim, I am so excited to be cooking with you once again. What are we making this afternoon?
We're doing pheasant egg rolls.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. Now that's really unique.
Yeah, well, everybody loves egg rolls and pheasant. Come on, it's a natural.
It is a natural. I see some pheasant marinating over there.
You are correct. So we have some beautiful pheasant fillets, breasts. You'll notice they're boneless, skinless, and then they're soaking in the marinade. So the marinade, very simple. It's soy sauce, toasted sesame oil, fresh ginger, fresh garlic, and that's it.
All right, what's our next step?
Our next step, now that the pheasant is marinated, we're gonna pound it thin. So we're gonna cover this in a little plastic wrap, and that's gonna prevent that marinade from splashing all over your kitchen.
Would not be good. I'm assuming I need a gentle touch here, yes?
Gentle touch, yes. It's exactly what you wanna see. See how it's just kind of laying flat, it's relaxing. Got medium-high heat, nice sizzle.
And how long does it take to cook on each side?
No more than 2 minutes when we pound it thin like that.
This one's gonna be good, Jim. I can smell the ginger and the garlic already. That smells amazing.
You notice I got the same pan, the pan we cooked the pheasant breast in.
All the flavors in there.
All the flavors in the bottom of that pan, and we're gonna saute the mushrooms in that. Just like that. Now it's time to combine all of our ingredients. So we've got the warm pheasant. We want to put the warm mushrooms in there. And Laura, we've got some green onions there.
Good.
And then I've got some cabbage slaw there. There's some carrots in there. There's some cilantro, but cabbage is the main ingredient.
Look at how pretty that looks.
All right, I think we are ready to actually roll the egg rolls. This is the fun part. So we've scrambled the egg. And I just want you to about 1 inch in on each side. You don't have to be too careful. You can just crank it on there. Right. So we're gonna grab about 3 ounces. I want the filling going across this way.
Diagonal.
Right in the center, right in the center. So we're gonna start at that bottom corner. We're gonna lift that up. And we're gonna fold that one in. Fold that one in. And here's where we wanna make sure it's kind of tight, but not too tight. If it's too tight, it'll explode.
Perfection.
There we go.
Perfection. Now I'm guessing it's time to fry them up.
It is. Time to get cooking. So I'm going to be very careful when I'm placing those in there. I don't want to splash.
Yes.
And you also don't want to overcrowd that pan.
About a minute each side?
Well, total cooking time is usually at least 3 minutes.
It is officially pheasant hunting season, and Chef Jim, I thank you for sharing your wild harvest with us today and
You're very welcome.
making the delicious egg rolls. And I'm ready for a taste test. Are you?
Yeah, definitely. And these look great.
Dip it in the sauce here. So good.
They are really good.
Don't forget, you can find this delicious recipe and more on mnbound.com. Nice work.
Thanks. You too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Straight ahead, we go back in time with Ron Schara in the Boundary Waters.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Lakes Area Power Sports. Visit Brainerd. And by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
You know, Minnesota's outdoor scene perpetually seems to change.
One place that seems to remain the same is the Boundary Waters.
Which is why we go all the way back to the year 1997 as Ron Schara visits one of his outdoor spot favorites.
The clearest way into the universe, author John Muir wrote, is through a forest of wilderness. Maybe that's why so many of us come to this wilderness, known as the Boundary Waters Canoe Area, the BWCA, in northern Minnesota. Maybe we're looking for something out there amid this roadless, million-acre maze of waterways and islands. Whatever it is, it must be something important, because to get there, we lug packs and canoes over portages. Rain or shine, it doesn't matter. We seem to be driven to be there, paddling onward, each canoe stroke bringing us closer to some unknown prize. Maybe it's our spirit we seek. Wilderness author Sigurd Olson thought so. Without divorcement from outside influences, he wrote, man cannot know what spirit means. We seek it so intensely, maybe that's why the BWCA has such a history of turmoil.
Well, I think it'd be a mistake to allow more motors into the wilderness.
I think it's being locked up and put away for use for just the young and strong and the people with more money.
And we could make the best decision that we could make, and we're not going to make everybody happy.
I've never been mad at anybody in a motorboat. I've paddled all my life. I just don't understand. Maybe I'm just too old. But I don't understand people being angry with somebody else because of the type of watercraft they're in. I'm more interested in how they camp and how they take care of the woods. They don't burn it down or something.
But none of us come to the Boundary Waters to argue. It's a simpler lifestyle we seek. It's where we go one-on-one with bugs that bite.
I use the old Indian remedy I learned from my friend Stanley Owl. That's never bite again.
Somewhere along the way, we start to find what we're looking for.
Oh, nice. Oh, is that a trophy?
There's not many places in the world that you can drink the water right out of the lake.
Yet, a wilderness trip can be humbling.
Don't change.
But we learn from that too. A wilderness, John Muir said, is where nature may heal and give strength to body and soul alike. It's a place wrapped in granite stone and chained with clear blue waters, where glaciers marched and left a path for the rest of us to follow. Loons call in springtime, ravens ring in winter, while sled dogs race atop the ice where paddlers paddled last summer. We each come here in search of self and answers to our questions. We find them in the biting fish, while sunset sees our tension. Yes, it's a magical place, the BWCA, as if nature was run by elves. It may explain for the rest of time why we must protect it from ourselves.
The Boundary Waters is such a beautiful place filled with childhood memories for me. We took a trip there and it rained the entire week, and we just called it liquid sunshine. That's how you get through it.
Sounds like the Boundary Waters. Well, that about does it for us. We certainly hope to see you back here next week.
In the meantime, what do we say, Millie? Remember to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. To get more Minnesota Bound, including full episodes, go to mnbound.com. And to follow our latest adventures, like us on Facebook.